Hello and welcome to this How 7th edition has affected the Eldar video with me, Mark, from the Xenovids channel. So I've done my previous video, the first in the series, basically taking a look at the armies Ian and I both have, and just analysing how 7th edition has affected these armies and how they are compared to the previous edition, or what they've done to buff or nerf the armies. So Eldar, for me, are a wonderful army, brilliantly colourful and characterful, with a brilliant backstory. I have been collecting the Eldar for almost as long as I've collected Tyranids. There's something about them, I like elves, so that's probably what it is, space elves as they are. So the book itself is still an extremely strong book in my opinion, even though the infantry is toughness 3 and generally the average save is a 4 up in the entire codex. There are a lot of things in here which make Eldar brilliant. So I'm sat here, I'm doing a bit of painting, waiting for it to dry, models for the Christmas Cup, which is exciting. I'm hopefully, Games Workshop, I made an order with them and it should be here today, but it's coming to the time where the postman's already been, so I'm a little bit worried because I'm at work all day tomorrow, which means I'm going to miss it. And the clock is ticking down for our Christmas Cup. That is the best timing in the world. Oh, I'm all excited. It's not a Games Workshop package. It looks like my girlfriend's dress for my work do. I really wanted it to be that because I have today off and that is a lot of painting I need to do. I'm getting quite a few models, unfortunately. But back to the Eldar. So I've got a few notes here about the Eldar as well and about 7th edition. What I'm going to go through is some of the key things that have changed in 7th edition, and then go through the codex, talking about each unit and how I see them fitting into 7th edition or not fitting into any good army list other than a narrative campaign list. So the big one for 7th edition is the inclusion of a new phase of the psychic phase. It is done directly after the movement phase but before the shooting phase, and it's brand new for a lot of people, unless I think it was 3rd edition where it was there, but 4th edition it disappeared. So the Eldar, fluff-wise in their story, are a highly psychic race, each one of them having the ability of psychic powers, and it should, in my opinion, make them amazing. Unfortunately, they're not the strongest psychers in the actual game. So I'm going to go through the psychic powers they have. They've got Runes of Battle, which is what Warlocks can take, and Runes of Fate, which is Farseers can take. Farseers can also take psychic powers from... So a Farseer can take psychic powers from Divination, Runes of Fate and Telepathy. So unlike the Tyranids, they don't get their own, not only do they get their own thing, but they also have variation where they can take psychic powers from other things, which gives them the general of an Eldar force, the way of having rerolls for things from either, I think it's Divination, and just kind of have a look at the psychic powers and go, right, I'm Psycho Mastery level 1, 2, 3, I'm probably going to get these psychic powers, so can I combine that with my army? Because it helps with Eldar to have a lot of synergy. If you don't have synergy in the force, then you probably won't be doing so well on the table. So Runes of Battle. Primaris. Each of these seems to come with two profiles. A good one for you and a negative one for your opponent. So a Warp Charge 1, you can either have it as a Blessing, Conceal. It basically gives you Shrouded. Or you can do Reveal, which is a Malediction, and you target a single enemy unit within 18 inches and it loses stealth and shrouded. Not bad. Number 1, Destructor / Renewal. Warp Charge 1, Destructor is a Witchfire power. It's a template, Strength 5, AP 4, Assault 1, Soul Blaze, so it's a flamer. And Renewer is a blessing. One friendly model within 18 inches regains a wound. Now this one is brilliant if you're taking a Spirit Seer and a lot of Wraith Knights. These Wraith Knights are devastating. When I come to them, you will see why. But number 1 is brilliant to renew them if they've lost wounds. Number 2 is Embolden / Horrify. Embolden is a blessing. The Psyker and his unit have the Fearless special rule. Horrify is a malediction. One enemy unit within 18 inches has -3 leadership. 3 is Enhance / Drain, again a Warp Charge 1. Enhance is a blessing. The Psyker and his units have +1 weapon skill initiative. And Drain is a malediction. One enemy unit within 18 inches has -1 weapon skill initiative. 4 is Protect / Jinx. Warp Charge 1. Protect is a blessing. The Psyker and his unit have 1+ armor save. That's pretty cool. And Jinx, one enemy unit within 18 inches has -1 armor save, which again is pretty good. If you've got a load of Terminators or power armor and you just want to take them down a little bit more, boom, you've got a -1 to your armor save. Number 5 is Quicken and Restrain. Warp Charge 1. Quicken is a blessing. The Psyker and his unit has the run. They can run an additional 3 inches. So in brackets it's D6 run move +3. Or Restrain is a malediction. One enemy unit within 18 inches cannot run. Empower / Innovate. Warp Charge 1. Empower is a blessing. The Psyker and his unit have +1 strength. Innovate is a malediction. One enemy unit within 18 inches has -1 strength. Runes of Fate. Very interesting. The first one, the Primaris power, is Guide. Warp Charge 1, Blessing. One friendly unit within 24 inches can re-roll shooting to hit rolls. That's good because Eldar are a very shooty force. Number 1 is Executioner. It is a Warp Charge 1 focused Witchfire. The range is 24 inches. The target suffers strength 3 hits at the Psychic strength with the Fleshbane special rule, and its AP is dash. If they are removed from play as a result, another model in the unit suffers 2 hits as above. If the second target is also removed from play, a final model in the unit suffers 1 hit as above. Give me a drink. If the Farseer choose the first attack model, he can choose the second and the third. If the first target model was chosen randomly, then the second and third are also chosen randomly. If a target survives or there are no models left in the target unit, the power ends. Number 2 is Doom. Warp Charge 1 Malediction, range 24. If the target unit is a non-vehicle unit, to wound rolls can be re-rolled. If the target unit is a vehicle, failed armor penetration rolls can be re-rolled. So Guide and Doom in the previous edition is very similar to what it was. Eldritch Storm, Warp Charge 2, the first Warp Charge 2 of all the psychic powers so far. Everything thus for 3, 4, 5 and 6 are Warp Charge 2. So number 3, Eldritch Storm, 24 inch, strength 3, Witchfire, Assault 1, Fleshbane, Haywire, Large Blast, Pinning. So before you were able to do it and then vehicles you could turn them and face another direction. Now you have Haywire. So you get that one, it's only strength 3, but strength 3 large blast pinning Fleshbane is great against troops, and Haywire is great if you clip a vehicle. Roll a d6, roll a 2 or a 5, it's a glance, roll a 6 as penetration, hit. 4 is Death Mission. It's a Warp Charge 2 blessing. Place D3 plus 2 Death Mission counters next to your Farseer. Whilst there is at least one counter next to him, he has Fearless and Rampage. It increases his characteristic profile as below. +5 weapon skill, +5 ballistic skill, +5 initiative, +2 attack. At the end of each phase, roll a d6. On a 1 or a 3, remove the counter. Once there are no counters remaining or the game ends, the Farseer is removed. Whilst the death mission lasts, the Farseer can only manifest death missions to replenish his counters. Risky, and I don't really see that being worth it at all. Fortune. Warp charge 2, blessing, range 24. A friendly unit can reroll all failed saving throws and deny the witch rolls. Fortune's brilliant as well. Mind War. Range 24 inches. It's a focused witchfire. The Farseer and his target rolls a d6 at their leadership. If the target scores higher, the Farseer has weapon skill and ballistic skill 1 until the end of the next turn. If the scores are drawn, the target has weapon skill and ballistic skill 1 until the end of the turn. If the Farseer score is higher, the target suffers a number of wounds equal to the difference between the two scores and has weapon skill and ballistic skill 1 at the end of the turn. No armor or cover saves are allowed against Mind War. So a few tweaks there, but still similar. Now, the Eldar only have Eldar Ulfrin is a level 3, level 4 Psyker. Farseer is a level 3, Spirit Seer is a level 2, and a Warlock is only a level 1. However, a Warlock can be placed into most units, infantry units in the Codex. That's not as many, obviously, as the Tyranids, but there is a lot in the HQ. Now, in 6th edition, you could have 2 HQs or dual force. You can have an unbound army now in 7th edition, so you could have a load of Farseers if you want in different units. I've seen Farseers on jetbikes, in a little council like that. They've had Farseers next to Vipers, Farseers here, there and everywhere, just buffing everything in the Eldar, because again, combining all the things like reroll to hit, to wound, having Warlocks minusing 1 to armor saves of your opponent. An army of jetbike psychic ability models are brilliant. You could just buff and debuff your opponent whilst your heavy hitting shooting elements do all the rest. So that's pretty cool. Another thing to talk about is the maneuverability of Eldar. Eldar and Dark Eldar are the fastest armies in the game. They have generally all their vehicles are fast skimmers, meaning they can move 12 inches without it hindering anything. They can then flat out, and then in some instances you can flat out further than your normal 12 inches, which is pretty cool. Skimmers, however, in the previous edition of the rules, used to get a 5-up cover save if you moved automatically, which was brilliant. That has now changed. You don't automatically get the cover save, but you get the Jink rule, which is on a 4-up. Basically, you declare Jink if you've been shot at, and it means you have a 4-up cover save. Obviously, that can be made better if it's night fighting, for example. But then in your next turn, you are snap firing. So you kind of have to think: do I think I can survive it, or do I risk it and then snap fire? Generally, you'll see the most common tank of the Eldar is a Wave Serpent, and Jink probably won't need to come into effect as much because of the Serpent Shield on the vehicle itself, but we'll go through that when I go into the Wave Serpent profile. This codex, you get a flyer. Flyers in 7th edition are still brilliant. There are more flyers now out there because they've been doing so many of the hardback covers. Each army pretty much gets a flyer. Even Space Wolf's got a flyer, which is one of the things I've ordered that's not here. So when 7th, 6th, which is where the flyers came out, every army that had a flyer was like, oh, how are we going to stop it? Everyone had Aegis Defense Line with the, I think it's the Icarus cannon. But now there's a lot of flyers out there. They're still brilliant. A flyer is still hard to hit. Generally has the jink rule. We have the jink rule. Some of the flyers have extra saves to it, but they're still good. And you've got some flyers in here which are good as well. And I recommend taking flyers and have a mechanized Eldar force as well. Monstrous creatures, I've said in the Tyrannies Codex, they've lost the ability to do. They haven't lost the ability. Smash is still there. Smash used to be half your attacks, and whatever attacks you're left with are all strength 10 AP2, as opposed to your base strength. However, the monstrous creatures that the Eldar have, the Wraith Lord is strength 8, the Wraith Knight is strength 10 base, so yeah, they're really high strength anyway. And they're both toughness 8, which is the best toughness a monstrous creature has in the entire game. So one could argue the Wraith Lord and the Wraith Knight are some of the best monstrous creatures in the game. Even though Tyranid have the most, none of them have a toughness that good. So let's talk a little bit about the Eldar. The sneaky Eldar. They're fast, maneuverable, high shooting, low toughness, generally in the infantry. But they're sneaky because they're elves in space. They've got something called battle focus, which basically means they have the ability to, after the movement phase, you're in the shooting phase where you can normally do your run move or shoot. You cannot do both. Well, the Eldar can do both, and you can choose which way round you go. So you can move up, shoot, run backwards, or move up, shoot, run into cover, or move up, run to get that extra range, and then shoot. You cannot assault after you've done this like normal, but it gives you the maneuverability, which is brilliant, and it's very. It sometimes can be saddening for an opponent to see how fast the Eldar can move and the amount of shots they do, because a lot of weapons are shuriken weapons, so like the little ninja shuriken discs, you fire them, and any 6s to wound essentially become rending. They're an AP2, so normal Eldar infantry can wound Terminators on a 6. You've negated their armor save. You've negated anything's armor save, to be fair. And that's one of the things I like about Eldar. Fast, shooty. I've played it enough to know what the strengths and weaknesses are of my army, and I don't really use a psychic force, which is strange for 7th edition, because the psychic phase, there's a whole phase of psychic phase, and you can just dominate an opponent. And I tend to normally not really go for the psychic. I have seen some brilliant battle reports where people have played Eldar with a few Farseers, and they have looked amazing, and it's been brilliant to watch that. But and I've got the models. I have 2 Farseer models and 8 Warlocks. I made it so they're all of the different colour schemes of Eldar: Baltan, Ulfway, Samhain, and Elotic. Elotic? However you pronounce that one. Because I love the look of the Eldar, which is one of the brilliant reasons why I collect them, because they, I think, one of the best looking armies out there, and can be one of the most colourful. So I'm going to go through now all of the entries in the HQ Elite troops, fast attack and heavy support, and give you my take on how they are for the 7th edition and what you can really do with them. So Aldrad Ulfrin, 205 points. That's not bad. You get a weapon skill, ballistic skill of 5, strength 3, toughness 4. Toughness 4 is brilliant. Not a lot of Eldar have that. Wounds 3, initiative 5, attack 1, leadership 10. No save, But if I go to his profile on page 53, he has got an invulnerable save. He has an armour of the Last Ruins, which gives him a 3-up invulnerable save. He has Staff of Ulthamar, which is strength for the user, AP 3, melee, Spirit Link, Fleshbane, Force. So it's a force weapon. Spirit Link, whenever Eldrad passes a psychic test, roll a d6 on a score of a 5 or a 6, Eldrad immediately regains a warp charge point. Essentially meaning Eldrad can keep using lots of psychic powers, which is brilliant. Is a Shuriken Pistol, Witchblade, Ghost Helm, Runes of Warding, Runes of Witnessing. I'll just talk about Runes of Warding quickly, because that did change from the previous edition. And Runes of Warding, 1 use only, immediately before the Farseer makes a Deny the Witch. He can choose to use this rune to grant his unit an additional +2 modifier to this dice roll. So it only really affects it if, from the wording, choose these runes to grant his unit an additional +2 modifier to the dice roll. So again, from the wording, it would seem if you're the target of a psychic attack. But I don't have the FAQ up. It could mean you could use it in other scenarios, but it looks like if you're the target of a psychic attack, you've got a +2 to Deny the Witch, so it becomes a 4-up. Runes of Witnessing, 1 use only. If the Farseer fails a psychic test, he can use these runes to re-roll the test, potentially negating Perils of the Warp in the process. It would now, because Perils of the Warp has changed slightly. It's not your leadership test to do a psychic test. It's not leadership test. It's you roll a 4-up. However, if you roll double 6s, then that's when you peril. So he comes with that. And he can take from Divination, Runes of Fate, and Telepathy. He's still got Path Beyond after both sides have deployed, but before Scout redeployment has performed, you can redeploy D3 + 1 of your units. Such units must be placed in your deployment zone. Even if you have the Infiltrate rule, this cannot be used to move units into or out of reserve, though. So he has the ability to redeploy some of your forces for the better. Psychic Mastery level 4 can have extra warp charges. Mastery level 4 means you are going, if you just take from the Runes of Fate, you're going to get the Primaris and 4 of the 6 psychic powers, which is brilliant. And he's great. He's 205 points. A Farseer is only 100 points, and a Farseer is Mastery level 3, and you can have put him on jetbikes and stuff like that. So Eldrad is good. I would probably not in a competitive game. I would probably have him in friendly games or narrative campaigns, definitely. Prince Uriel, 140 points. Weapon skill, ballistic skill 6, strength 3, toughness 3, 4 wounds, initiative 7, 4 attacks, leadership 10, armor save 3, heavy aspect armor, force shield, plasma grenades. So he has an invulnerable save, and plasma grenades, which could be good against vehicles. The Eye of Wrath and the Spear of Twilight. He's on page 54. That's the thing with the Eldar. They've got so many little rules that you have to just keep going backwards and forth, backwards and forth. Eye of Wrath is a 1 use only in the fight subphase, provided he is not in a challenge. Uriel can make a special attack at his initiative step instead of making any close combat attacks. Center a large blast marker over Uriel. All units, friends and foes, suffer a number of strength 6 AP3 hits equal to the number of models from their unit at least partially under the template, including Uriel. Only unsaved wounds caused to enemy units count towards combat resolution. Or the Spear of Twilight, strength user, AP3 melee, cursed, fleshbane, armorbane. When engaged in combat, Uriel must re-roll saving throws of a 6. So a couple of good abilities there. 140 points, definitely something to consider. But again, a lot of the HQ unit would be better in narrative campaigns. And just to, on a side note, 14 HQ units is a lot of choices in a section that previously you weren't allowed to take more than 2 or 3. Now in an unbound army you can take all of these. Illic Knight Spear, he's brand new to this codex, 140 points. He's essentially with weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 9, strength toughness 3, 3 wounds, initiative 6, 3 attacks, leadership 10, 5 up save. He hates Necrons, and he's got a brilliant sniper weapon. And if you retain Illic Knight Spear, any number of rangers can be upgraded to Aelitic Pathfinders at an additional cost of 13 points per model. In addition to normal rules for Eldar Rangers, Aelitic Pathfinders have the Shrouded and Sharp Shot special rule. So if you're going for an Aelitic army, take him. It would be brilliant. And again, a narrative campaign, it would work really, really well. Azuman. Now we're going into the Phoenix Kings. I think they're called Phoenix Kings. Azuman, who is the head of the Dire Avengers. 220 points! Weapon skill, ballistic skill 7, strength, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 7, 4 attacks, leadership 10, 2 up armor save. He has Phoenix armor, which is the 2 up armor save. Twin-linked Avenger Sheriff catapults. Has a brilliant sword. Eternal Warrior, Fearless, many different special rules, Lex art powers. He's brilliant. Very expensive, but very worth considering. Jane Zar is 200 points. I think she is the head of the Howling Banshees. Weapon skill, ballistic skill, exactly the same stats. All of the Phoenix Kings have that, so I won't go through their stats anymore. Basically, she is brilliant in close combat and will destroy a troop by herself. Canandras, 230 points, King of the Scorpions, essentially. Great for ambushing, outflanking your striking Scorpions. They are brilliant, however, in the last game I used them, I needed a 1 or a 2 or a 5 or a 6, because on a 1 or a 2 it was to my left, on a 4 or a 5, a 3 or a 4 even, they'd come on my right, and a 5 or a 6 I choose, and I rolled the dice roll that I didn't need, and they went on the opposite side of the field and ended up doing nothing the entire game. Fugan, a fire dragon of doom, essentially. 220 points. Baharaf, 195. He's the king of the Dark Reaper aspect. Or it's Morgan Ra. Yeah, Morgan Ra's 195. Bahara is the Swooping Hawks. I do apologise. Morgan Ra is 195 points. Then we have the first of the 3 monstrous creatures for Eldar, the Avatar of Cain. 195 points. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 10. Strength, toughness 6. 5 wounds, initiative 10. 5 attacks, leadership 10. 3 up armor save. You can only take 1 per detachment. He has a sword which has a 12-inch melter. You can give him fast shot, I think it is, which gives you a +1 shot essentially, which is what I do. He cannot be harmed by flamer or melter weapons. He's a demon, so he has a 5 up invulnerable save. He is fearless. He gives your units within 12 inches fearless, which is brilliant as well. The Avatar of Cain is really good. Giving him the upgrade that I'd said, fast shot, he becomes 205 points. Yeah, it's great. I would recommend the Avatar of Cain. I use the Forge World Avatar of Cain because that was brilliant. The previous model I think was cast in either the 80s or the 90s, and it looks like it's small, probably smaller than or the same size as a Dreadnought, and it just looks poor. So use the Avatar of Cain from Forge World if you have your monies. And the Avatar of Cain works well in a narrative campaign, generally competitive and friendly, I found. Autark, brilliant for competitive play. 70 points, weapon skill, ballistic skill 6, strength, toughness 3, 3 wounds, initiative 6, 3 attacks, leadership 10, 3 up armor save. You can give him jetbikes, swooping hawkwings, warp generators, banshee mask, mandy blasters, loads of remnants of glories, and loads of different weapons. You can kit this guy out to whatever you want. If you want a guy that's just in the back firing a Reaper launcher, do it. If you want a guy on a jet bike that can go up as fast as you can and just slaughter a unit, he can do that. So the Autark is your guide to your Swiss Army knife. If you know what you're going up against, you can kill him out of that. If you want him to do a specific role, which your army doesn't do otherwise, do it. Farseer, we have spoken about it. Weapon skill, ballistic skill 5, strength, toughness 3, 3 wounds, initiative 5, 1 attack, leadership 10. He has the rune armor, so has an invulnerable save. 100 points, you can put him on a jet bike. I see a lot of people doing that and taking the rune of fate. If you put him on a jet bike, he'll become 115 points altogether, which is brilliant. And you have your little warlock council of warlocks on jet bikes, or have the Farseer and a warlock in a unit of jet bikes because they're quite cheap. And then you can just go up the field, boom, 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 and just have this massive unit of shuriken weapons, psychic powers going up the board. And you can use like Wraith Knights as well, keeping them close, and your opponent will not really know what to do half the time. Great for all competitive, friendly and narrative. Spirit Seer, only 70 points. If you take him, Wraith Guard and Wraith Blade become troops. Well, so an Iand and army go for that narrative wise, and he's alright because he's only 70 points. Takes it from telepathy and the runes of battle. He's a psychic mastery level 2 as well. Warlock Council, 35 points. You can have 1 to 10 for 1 primary detachment, and you can put them essentially in Guardian Defenders, Storm Guardians, jet bikes, support batteries. Once they're there though, they can't detach from the unit, and obviously they can take jet bikes as well. And it's they're not bad. Psychic Mastery level 1 there. Going into troops, Dire Avengers. 65 points for 5 of them, so they're 13 points a model. Web skill, ballistic skill 4, strength, toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 5, 1 attack, leadership 9, save for 4 up. They're awesome. I see a lot of people using them either within a 6-man unit, 5-man unit, or a 10-man unit. Putting them in a Wave Serpent. Always put them in a Wave Serpent. Have your Wave Serpent come up. Your Wave Serpent does its thing. They come out. You then have, essentially, I think they have 2 shots with their Avenger Shuriken Catapult, which makes it, so if you have a unit of 10, that's 20 shots, needing 3s to hit, and then on 6s to wound. It becomes AP'd. You can upgrade one to a Dire Avenger Exarch. I don't usually. I save the points because they're toughness 3, so they're going to die, and there's a lot of points putting something into a toughness 3 model. Guardian Defenders, 90 points for 10 of them. You can give them, they have a 5 up armor save, web skill, ballistic skill 4. They used to be ballistic skill 3, they're now ballistic skill 4, which is brilliant because you can give them a heavy weapons platform, giving them a Shuriken cannon, either Bright Lance, Scatter Laser or Star Cannon or Eldar missile launcher, or ignoring that you can put them in a Wave Serpent. I give them the support heavy weapon. I have them on near an objective in cover, just shooting whatever I want them, whatever their role is. If I've given them Bright Lance, they'll shoot at a vehicle. If I've given them the Eldar missile launcher, I'll shoot at vehicles or light infantry. They're not bad, they're cheap as well. Storm Guardians, exactly the same points, but you can give them, up to 2 of them, a fusion gun or a flamer. So you have a unit of 10 of them, put them in a Wave Serpent and shoot the Wave Serpent as far up the field as you can. You've got 2 fusion guns in that unit, needing 3s to hit. You're generally going to really cripple a tank, and if you don't want to pay the mass amount of points that you have to now for the Fire Dragons, Storm Guardians are your cheaper option. You only have the 2 fusion guns, but 2 melter guns are brilliant. Better than nothing. Windrider jetbikes. 51 points. Gets you 3 of them. They're 17 points a model. Huge point reduction. Weapon skill ballistic skill 4, strength 3, toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 5, 1 attack, leadership 8, free up save. You may include up to 7 additional Windrider Guardians, so a unit of 10. For every 3 models, you can exchange the twin link Shuriken catapult for a Shuriken cannon, which is definitely something to consider again with your Warlock Council or big units, or even little units. Just consider it, because it's brilliant. Rangers are 60 points. Each one's 12 points. That gets you a unit, a model with a 5-up armor save, stealth, move through cover, infiltrate, so they can outflank. Has a ranger long rifle, which is a sniper rifle. Ballistic skill 4, you're hitting on 3s, but every time I've used them, because it's a heavy weapon, you cannot move and shoot without snap firing. You cannot run snap without snap firing. It's, I don't know. There are better things, better snipers out there in the game, unfortunately. And every time I've used the Rangers, they just haven't delivered on what I wanted them to do. Dedicated Transport, however, has Wave Serpent, 115 points. It's a lot of points. Ballistic skill 4, brilliant. Front side armor 12, rear is 10, hull points 3. Twin link Shuriken cannon as standard. Twin link Shuriken catapult standard. Serpent shield can carry 12 models. You can upgrade it to have Bright Lance scatter laser, star cannon, Eldar missile launcher with plasma or starshot missiles. May exchange twin link Shuriken catapult for a Shuriken cannon. Give it upgrades from the vehicle equipment. If I've got the points, I'll give it the additional cover save. But the Serpent Shield, if you keep the shield activated and don't use it as a shooting attack, your Wave Serpent counts all penetrating hits as a glance on a 2-up. Or if you use it, it's essentially a long range, I think it's like 72 inches, strength 7, AP dash, D6 plus 1 hits. Ignores cover. That's huge. I've seen a lot of people who put scatter lasers on it. Fire the scatter lasers, you then have a twin linked Serpent Shield. I have 4 of them. Not on a normal list, but I have 4. Elites. Right, 75 points of Howling Banshee goodness. That's 15 points a model. Weapon skill, ballistic skill 4, strength toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 5, attack 1, leadership 9. So tired. I'm so tired. I had a really long weekend. If anyone yawned when I yawned, please let me know in the comment section below. It's just been one of those weekends of pure no sleep. The Howling Banshees are okay. They're strength 3, they're AP 2. No, they're strength 3, AP 3. They have a Shuriken pistol. They're okay. Less and less now as it goes on with each edition. Howling Banshees are being used less. Striking Scorpions are being used. They're 85 points, 17 points a model. The reason is they've got the same stats, but they have a free up armor save as standard, and they can outflank. So a little bit more survivable, but it is a toughness 3 model. So be careful with that. Fire dragons, woo, 22 points a model. And yeah, same stats, and all you're getting is a thing with a fusion gun and a melter bomb. You're paying a lot of points, but when they shoot at a vehicle, that vehicle will no longer be there. Ever. So I put them in a wave serpent. I have a unit of 5, and their role is to just take out like a land raider, high priority vehicles, and then I just maneuver the wave serpent so they won't get as shot up as they normally could. But if they're shooting at that, then they're not shooting at the wave serpent. If they're shooting at the fire dragons, they're ignoring the wave serpent, and they're ignoring the wraith knight that's coming their way as well. Harlequins, I like the look of the models. 18 point a model. When I've seen them played, 75% of the time they failed. The times they have worked well, they've been absolutely devastating. I've never used them because of that, which would suggest to me they're not hugely competitive unless you are a brilliant general and know exactly how to take down an opponent with Harlequins. So I'm going to skip them. Wraith Guard and Wraith Blades are 160 points for 5. They're 32 points a model. One of them is a shooting which will destroy any opponent with their shots. They're toughness 6, strength 5, 1 wound, 3 up armor save. Or you have Wraith Blades, which have close combat weapons which can just destroy units. However, they are only initiative 4, they only have 1 attack. Yes, there's toughness 6 and strength 5, but it only takes that 1 attack to hit you. You fail your armor save, they're dead. That's 32 points. That's a lot of points per model. Fast attack, you've got swooping hawks. I think they're rubbish. if I'm being honest, the grenade pack doesn't usually do a lot. Their haywire grenades don't. It's alright. And when they deep strike, they don't scatter, but it's a kamikaze unit. You're giving your opponent a kill point. Warp Spiders, though, I think are brilliant. 95 points for 5. That's 19 points a model. They can deep strike in. They have a brilliant weapon, strength 6. AP dash, but on a 6 to wound, it's AP 2. They're jump infantry, and their armor save is 3. Shining Spears, they're pretty cool. 25 points a model will essentially get you something that can lance a vehicle to death. Crimson Hunter is the shooty flyer, which I like to use, 160 points. I upgrade it to an Exarch so that it becomes ballistic skill 5. Front side and rear armor is only 10. It does have 2 bright lancers, 2 pulse lasers. That's a lot of strength 8 AP2 shots. Vector Dancer, essentially you can move and then pivot 45 after you've done that, or even before you do your proper movement. And you get to re-roll against, if you don't make a glance or a penetrating hit against a flyer, you can re-roll. Viper Squadron is okay, 50 points a model, but then that's a Shuriken Cannon, twin Shuriken Catapults. You can have that as a little mobile thing that's just like pestering your opponent's infantry, or you can give it Star Cannon, Bright Lance, Scatter Laser, and have it going up and give them a roll to take down vehicles and stuff like that. Hemlock Wraith Fighter, 185 points. However, it is a Psycho Mastery level 1. Makes your opponent scared, but the problem with that is I play Space Marines or Chaos Space Marines that are fearless, and they shall know no fear. So that one doesn't really help me out. Heavy support, 8 units there, which is pretty cool. Dark Reapers, 30 points a model. Dark Reapers are still brilliant. You've got 2 types of missile. You've got the Strength 8 AP3 1-shot. You've got the 2-shot Strength 5 AP3. What I'm saying is they're marine killers. Val's Wrath Support Battery. They are artillery, they're cheap, they are brilliant. If I had more points to spare, I would take them. Fire Prism, 125 points. It's not bad. Prism Cannon, you've got three profiles for it. A lance single shot, a small blast, and a heavy blast. Large blast. The weaponry is brilliant. I still take them. Night Spinner is 115 points. Make your opponent scared by firing its Doom Weaver, large blast, and watch how they cry. The Falcon is used less and less and less. 125 points. You have a 6 model transport tank. You've got the Wave Serpent, which have a Serpent Shield and can hold 12 models for less points. Why would you ever take a Falcon? Warwalker Squadron, however, 60 points a model, 3 in a unit. Equip them with whatever weaponry you want and just enjoy the shots that they can put out. Wraith Lord, 120 points. Is a monstrous creature, only has 3 attacks. You can kit it out to be a shooty one or a close combat one. 40k is a shooty based game, so give it lots of guns. And the Wraith Knight, the big daddy, who I love, who Ian hates. 240 points, gets you weapon skill, ballistic skill 4, strength 10, toughness 8, 6 wounds, initiative 5, 4 attacks, leadership 10, 3 up armor save. It comes with 2 heavy Wraith cannons, or you can upgrade it to have a sun cannon with scatter shield, giving it a 5 up invulnerable save, and a 3-shot blast, strength 6 AP2. And then what I do is give it scatter laser, and then that's 20 points more, and that makes it 300 points. But you have a twin linked strength 6 AP2 blast weapon, and then in close combat it's strength 10, 4 attacks. So absolutely brilliant, that one. I won't bother going through the warlord traits because they're a bit pants, really, like most warlord traits out there. Eldar. What do I think of them in 7th edition? Amazing. You can have so many little fast units. I mean, you can have a unit of 3 jetbikes, have them in reserve. They'll come in, they'll move, they'll flat out, because they flat out 24 inches, and then they can move 2d6 in the assault phase for whatever reason you want. They're going to claim an objective. A couple of units of them, have the big hard hitters of the Wraith Knight, Fire Prism, Warlock Council, Fire Dragons, whatever you want. The units in the Eldar Codex are designed to do something. So Reapers are designed to shoot at Space Marines and kill Space Marines. They won't do very well against anything in close combat though. Striking Scorpions and Hunting Badges are better in close combat, but again it's a shooty game and you must consider that. So Eldar can take objectives very easily. They can shoot a lot and cripple your opponent with a combination of firepower and psychic power. You must remember though, they are toughness 3, and it won't take long and a lot of shooting to take them down. But the Wave Serpent is highly regarded as the best transport to ever grace the shelves of Warhammer 40k players, and I would agree with that. And I think Eldar are brilliant. They almost won the Battle League tournament this year and last year. They got pipped to the post because of the sheer size of my Tyranid army, but they've always generally succeeded. And I still think Eldar are up there. I do think When they came out, it was Tau and Eldar, and they were quite good and similar level, but I think the Tau have slightly dropped in their power level, but the Eldar have not, because you have things like the Wraith Knight, which are amazing. So thanks very much for watching. This series is kind of an informal kind of layout. When I've got time, I'll be going through all of the books, and I'll try and get Ian over at some point. He's really busy with work as well, and our schedules are clashing quite a lot, unfortunately, until our Christmas Cup next week. And I get him to go over the Tau stuff and the Space Marines and stuff like that. So thanks very much for watching. I'm gonna get back to painting these 13 models I have in front of me. Please go and enjoy Warhammer 40k. If you're a Tau or Tyranid player, watch these videos. Tau or Tyranid, Eldar or Tyranid, go watch the videos, have a little think about your armies, and go and battle, and let me know where you feel Eldar or Tyranids, but Eldar mostly are in power levels and how they have done for you in 7th edition. So thanks very much for watching. Please comment, share, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.